y'all, welcome back and welcome if you are new. My name is Sam and welcome to my channel. I have some easy and delicious weeknight meal ideas for you this week, so let's just get right into the video. Alright guys, we are starting this week out and we are going to make some steaks. These are some ribeyes. The seasonings that I used is this Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse. I've got some garlic powder and onion powder and some salt and pepper. And that's it. Oh, and some Worcestershire sauce. I've got that on there and it's been marinating for a couple of hours. We're also going to have some baked potatoes and asparagus. My baked potatoes are lightly coated with oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. So these are going to go in the oven at 425 for about 40 to 45 minutes or a little bit longer. Just depends on how big the potatoes are. You can pierce it with a fork or a knife, and if it comes out and it's like soft, you're good to go. So I'm going to get those on. And when these are done, I'm going to put the steaks on and steam up some asparagus and season those up, and then I'll meet you back here. Alright guys, I've got my ribeyes cooking here. I've also got some baked potatoes with some bacon bits and sour cream. Here is my plate. I've just got the ribeye here and I topped it with some butter. I've got the baked potato and some asparagus with salt and pepper, and that is what's for dinner tonight. Alright guys, tonight's dinner is going to be super easy. I'm just going to make a simple chicken noodle soup. What I've got going on here is I've got 2 chicken breasts that I thawed out. I've got some spaghetti pasta here, some chicken broth, bay leaf, garlic powder, onion powder. I got some parsley and some pepper. Now what I'm going to do, oh, you're also going to need some water, which I've got that coming up to a boil on the stove, about 10 cups or so. But that's coming up to a boil on the stove. I'm going to go ahead and add in my chicken, and I'm going to let that cook about 10 to 15 minutes or so, just until all of that chicken gets cooked, and then I'm going to drain it, put the chicken back in there and cook it for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to add all of my spices, my chicken broth, and my pasta. Take my chicken out, shred that up, let the pasta cook, and then I'm going to add the chicken back in and check the seasoning, make sure everything's good, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done. Alright, so the chicken cooked in just plain water for about 10 minutes until it was, you know, like when you cook chicken, that foamy stuff that comes off the chicken. So I just took that out and then dumped the water, and then I filled it back up with some water, put the chicken back in, and then added my spices, my bay leaf, and some chicken broth. And now I'm just going to let this cook for about 20 to 25 minutes or so, just until the chicken is completely cooked through. And then I'm going to take the chicken out, shred it up, add the pasta in here, cook it until the pasta is tender, and then add the chicken back in, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, here is what it looks like so far. I added the pasta, shredded the chicken, added it back in, and now I'm letting the pasta finish up cooking. Now if you want to add vegetables to this, you can add a little bit of butter at the beginning and saute up some onions, some carrots, and celery, and you know, just soften those up and then add everything else. But I kept it pretty plain, so I'm going to let my pasta finish up cooking and then I'll show you my plate. Alright guys, here is my bowl of soup. Like I said, it's super simple. It's got a lot of flavor, especially with that chicken broth that I used, and added seasoning gave it a lot of flavor. So I'm ready to dig in. Tonight we're making the Pioneer Woman's Sloppy Joes. Now I do tweak this a little bit. I have the recipe because my family is definitely not as big as hers, and I use, in place of ketchup, I use either crushed tomatoes or tomato puree. It's the same amount. I just used either crushed tomatoes or tomato puree because I don't like the flavor of ketchup in Sloppy Joes. my personal opinion, but you can use ketchup if that's what you prefer. This is everything I've got going on. I've got some of these Arby's fries here that I need to use up, so I'm going to put these in the air fryer. I've got a couple of burger buns, brown sugar, tomato puree. I've got some onions that I'm going to dice up. I've got some chili powder, mustard, some red pepper flakes. She calls for Tabasco. I do not have any. I'm out, but I do have this Crystal hot sauce. Got some salt and pepper and some Worcestershire sauce, or however you say that. I think everybody says that differently. And I've got a pound of ground beef. So what I'm going to go ahead and do first is I'm going to add a little bit of oil to my pan and go ahead and start sauteing my onion and my ground beef. Make sure that's all nice and combined. And then I'm just going to follow her directions in the book. But I will leave the link to her recipe in the description box below so you can make it for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started and I will show you what it looks like. I just put the fries in the air fryer. And my sloppy joe mix is coming along. It's got a few more minutes and this will be done, so I will show you what it looks like when it's done and I make my plate. I also went ahead and toasted some buns. These are just the regular sesame seed buns. I just put a little bit of butter on the top on all of them, and then I added some garlic powder, onion powder, seasoning salt, toasted them up for about 5 minutes. And then I just put a slice of cheese on the bottom bun, pop that in the oven again for about another 2 minutes or so and let that cheese melt. And right now we're just waiting on the fries, and then I will show you my plate. Alright guys, here is my plate. I've just got a bun with some sloppy joe mix here and some french fries. I'll add some ketchup with some pepper in just a minute, but this is what we're going to have for dinner tonight. Alright guys, today's dinner is going to be super simple. We're going to make some grilled chicken with Parmesan butter pasta and some roasted broccoli. I've got some chicken here. These are 2 chicken breasts that I just cut in half, and it's marinating in garlic, salt, pepper, olive oil, and some lemon juice, and that's just been sitting here marinating. I've got it coming out to room temperature now because it's been in the refrigerator. I've got some pasta. You can use any kind of pasta that you want or have on hand. I've got some bow tie pasta, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to have a little bit of garlic in there, not much, but you can use however much you want. Some Parmesan cheese, a half a stick of butter. It is butter pasta after all, and some chicken broth. I've got about 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth here, and some broccoli. Now all I'm going to do to the broccoli is add a little bit of oil to this, salt and pepper. You can season it however you want, and just pop this in the oven and let it get nice and crispy. So while that's going in the oven, I'm just going to grill this, boil my pasta noodles, and then drain that. In a pan, I'm going to add the butter and the garlic and kind of let that melt down together. Add the chicken broth and a little bit of Parmesan cheese and let that kind of combine together to make a delicious sauce. Add the pasta, and then everything will be good to go. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when I get it all going. Alright guys, so I've got my chicken on. It's grilling up. It's almost done. My pasta is almost done, and it's almost ready to add to the sauce, which I've got going here. It's just half a stick of butter, some garlic, chicken broth, salt and pepper, and I added a little bit of parsley flakes, and I'm letting this reduce down a little bit, and then I'll add in my pasta. I'll drain it and then add that to this, and then add the Parmesan cheese on top, and then kind of toss it together, and that'll be good to go. I've also got my broccoli in the oven, and it's roasting up, so everything should be done here shortly. Alright guys, here is my plate. I just have some of the grilled chicken here, some of the Parmesan butter pasta, and some roasted broccoli, and I cannot wait to dig in. This is so good. Alright guys, here is this week's meal plan. On Monday, I just want something super simple, so we're going to do quesadillas with some salsa and guacamole on the side, as well as some rice. Tuesday, we're going to do vegetable soup. I've not had vegetable soup in such a long time, and I want some, so I'm going to make some. Wednesday, we're going to do cheeseburgers and some onion rings. Thursday, we're going to make some chicken Florentine with some brown rice. Super, super simple and absolutely delicious. And Friday, we are going to do tacos. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.